Minnesota agriculture is big business. Farmers utilize nearly half of the state's land, about 27 million acres, for growing crops and livestock production. Their goal is to raise families and make a profit in their business. But they're also environmental stewards who do their part to protect our water and vast natural resources. Organizations like the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, the Soil Conservation Service, various producer groups, and county agencies are all concerned about protecting our soil and the environment.
Most agricultural producers really want to do a good job. They want to protect the environment. We understand that. They know their land better than anybody. We want to help producers do a good job and be successful. We have engineers and technical people that can do a lot of research and find out new information to help them.
Laws are in place to protect our waters from potential pollution hazards. Feedlot location, feedlot construction, manure storage, and manure application are some aspects of livestock production that are carefully regulated. As animal numbers and size of operations increase, environmental regulations are becoming more restrictive. Feedlots in Minnesota are routinely inspected for compliance.
We focus pretty much on the compliance and enforcement. It's our job to make sure that those requirements are fulfilled. How and when they applied manure, where, the methods of application. The records is really important too, so they have proof of what they've accomplished.
Inspectors look for pollution concerns and review farmers' records. Minnesota requires livestock farms that reach a certain animal unit threshold to create and update manure management plans. Manure is applied to fields based on soil data and crop nutrient needs. Sensitive areas like streams, creeks, rivers, and drainage ditches are protected.
We have a manure management plan that is implemented by the state of how much manure is applied to each field, and we try to work the manure into the field as soon as possible after application. There's setback rules that we follow that are regulated by the state. You have to stay so far back from streams and creeks and ditches, tile intakes, and all those rules are followed.
Feedlot expansion or new construction is also regulated. In many cases, permits are needed on local levels throughout townships and counties to meet local zoning requirements.
If producers have permits and follow them, it really helps them have a well-managed, efficient operation and a cleaner operation that is good for livestock health as well. Each site is unique. There's so many variables. Each farm has its own unique characteristics, and that's why we are there to work on an individual basis with producers.
Larger farms that raise livestock are held to higher environmental standards and review. Environmental assessment worksheets, or EAWs, are required on feedlots at certain animal thresholds. EAWs review in more detail the environmental and local effects the farm could have. The assessment can cost thousands of dollars and is required before any permitting can be done. EAWs, however, do not secure a permit. State and/or local governments can still deny a permit even if an EAW has a positive declaration.
The permitting process makes it much easier for the producer, makes it much easier for us, because the intent and the outcome is to make sure that the feedlots comply. They don't have a discharge, they don't have a pollution problem, and everybody's happy.
Permitting in Minnesota requires detailed information and scientific design. To protect the environment, structures must be designed by an engineer and meet Minnesota's construction requirements. Manure storage facilities are closely reviewed to make sure they are built correctly to prevent pollution issues. Farms that have livestock in open lots with a dirt or concrete surface are also closely monitored. Any runoff leaving the site must not affect nearby water sources.
Our barns are scraped clean every day to make sure the cows stay clean, and the manure goes into a liquid storage basin.
To ensure that we're protecting the environment every day, we collect all the roof water and all of the runoff from the cement here, and all that funnels through this alleyway here and into this drain tile, and this drain tile runs directly into the manure storage basin.
We are very proud to have no runoff on our dairy farm.
A computer model developed by the University of Minnesota is used to scientifically verify that runoff from the open lot will not contaminate any water sources or direct outlets to water sources. Minnesota farmers also follow rules and guidelines when dealing with animal mortalities, normal operation and maintenance of their farm, outdoor issues, and emergency situations. Field application of manure meets setback requirements from sensitive water areas.
Minnesota is blessed with great natural resources, both water and land, and groundwater is a big issue. A lot of times people aren't aware of groundwater, but actually most fresh water is underground, and that's why it's important to manage our facilities to prevent contaminated water from running off into waters, but yet contain it and then put it back on the land as fertilizer.
The key concern is just to make sure that the waters of the state are protected. The producer is keeping his plant food where he needs it, which is in the field.
Manure is tested for nutrient content and applied to meet and not exceed field soil requirements. The University of Minnesota supplies recommendations and guidelines to help farmers in these areas. Just like many other industries in the state, agriculture strives to be more efficient. Farmers are choosing new and improved seed and using better livestock genetics. They're becoming more specialized in certain crop and livestock sectors, and they're implementing new technologies. Improvements like these ensure that Minnesota agriculture remains strong and profitable.
We have to look long term too, down the road to our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We want to leave them a good, healthy, natural environment.
Though the face and practices of agriculture have changed, the farmers that work in this industry continue to be good stewards of the land. They follow regulations and utilize best management practices. They continue to improve the products they produce, and they show concern for the welfare of the livestock they raise.
Farmers have always been stewards of the land, and it's very important to us to maintain that high level of integrity with our records and with our neighbors, people working together to produce the crops, to get the manure spread on the land, and get everything done in the right way so that the environmental stewardship and practices that are set up can all be fulfilled